Imagine standing on a tiny blue planet, floating through an endless ocean of darkness at more than 67,000 miles per hour. And somehow, this is the calmest part of the universe. Space is beautiful, terrifying, mysterious, and honestly, completely unbelievable. The deeper scientists look into the cosmos, the stranger it becomes. There are planets where it rains glass sideways, stars so massive they could swallow millions of Earths, and black holes that literally bend time itself. And the craziest part? We've barely explored any of it. The universe is so enormous that if you traveled at the speed of light, fast enough to circle Earth 7 times in 1 second, it would still take more than 4 years just to reach the nearest star outside our solar system. That means every star you see in the night sky is unbelievably far away. Some of the light reaching your eyes tonight actually began its journey before humans even invented the wheel. One of the coolest things about space is that silence completely takes over. In movies, spaceships explode with massive sound effects, but in reality, space is almost perfectly silent because sound needs air to travel. So if two stars collided right beside you in the vacuum of space, you wouldn't hear a thing. It would look like the most dramatic event in the universe, in total silence. Then there's the fact that space doesn't really have an up or down. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station float endlessly because gravity is still pulling on them, but they're constantly falling around Earth instead of into it. That's basically what orbiting is. They're falling forever. Somehow, physics turned falling into a career. And speaking of astronauts, living in space changes the human body in bizarre ways. Without gravity compressing the spine, astronauts can actually grow taller while in orbit. But there's a weird trade-off. Their muscles weaken, their bones lose density, and even their eyesight can change. Imagine going to work and returning home slightly taller but physically weaker. Space really does not care about comfort. Now let's talk about one of the most famous cosmic mysteries ever discovered: black holes. These monsters are regions of space so dense that not even light can escape them. Some black holes are formed when giant stars collapse under their own gravity, creating a point where the laws of physics basically panic and stop making sense. If you got too close to one, gravity would stretch your body like spaghetti before pulling you in. Scientists actually have a name for this nightmare fuel. They call it spaghettification. Somehow, that word sounds way too cheerful for what it describes. But black holes aren't just destructive. They may actually help galaxies exist in the first place. At the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, sits a supermassive black hole called Sagittarius A star, containing the mass of millions of suns. Even more incredible, scientists recently captured the first ever image of a black hole, and it looked exactly like something straight out of science fiction. Then there are neutron stars, which might be even stranger. These are the crushed remains of dead stars, packed so tightly that a single teaspoon of neutron star material would weigh billions of tons on Earth. That's heavier than Mount Everest squeezed into a spoon. Some neutron stars spin hundreds of times every second, firing beams of energy across the universe like giant cosmic lighthouses. And just when you think planets would be the normal part of space, the universe says absolutely not. There's a planet called HD 189733b, where it rains molten glass sideways at thousands of miles per hour because of extreme winds. Imagine the world's worst weather forecast. Another planet, called WASP-12b, is so close to its star that it's literally being stretched apart and slowly consumed. Space doesn't do peaceful sunsets. It does planetary destruction on a cosmic scale. One of the most emotional facts about space is that looking far away also means looking back in time. Light takes time to travel, so when astronomers observe distant galaxies, they're seeing them as they existed millions or even billions of years ago. Telescopes are basically time machines. The farther we look into space, the farther we look into the ancient past of the universe itself. That idea became even more incredible when the James Webb Space Telescope began sending back images. The telescope can see galaxies formed shortly after the Big Bang, revealing ancient light that traveled across the universe for over 13 billion years before finally reaching us. Every image feels less like a photograph and more like a message from the beginning of time. And somehow, despite all this darkness and emptiness, space is full of beauty. There are giant clouds of gas called nebulae that glow with impossible colors, forming new stars and cosmic nurseries. The famous pillars of creation look like towering mountains made from dust and light. Entire galaxies spin gracefully through the void, like glowing whirlpools millions of light years wide. It's hard to believe these places are real and not digital art created by a movie studio. Then, there's the terrifying possibility that the universe might be filled with invisible matter we still can't fully explain. Scientists believe most of the universe is made of dark matter and dark energy, mysterious forces we cannot directly see. Everything humans have ever touched, built, or discovered may only represent a tiny fraction of reality. Imagine realizing that the stars, planets, and galaxies we know are just the visible surface of something vastly larger and stranger hiding underneath. And here's a fact that feels almost impossible to process. There are likely more stars in the universe than grains of sand on every beach on Earth combined. Think about that for a second. Every grain of sand you've ever stepped on during a vacation, and there are still more stars than all of them together. Somewhere out there could be planets with oceans, storms, mountains, maybe even life staring back into space asking the exact same questions we are. Scientists are already searching for those answers. Missions to Mars continue looking for signs that life may have existed long ago, while powerful telescopes scan distant planets for atmospheres that could support living organisms. The universe may look empty, but the truth is, we still know almost nothing. And maybe that's what makes space so fascinating. It reminds us how small we are, but also how extraordinary it is that we exist at all. Every human achievement, every city, every dream, every story in history happened on a tiny planet drifting through an unimaginably massive universe. Yet somehow, we learned to look up at the stars and ask questions. That curiosity is what launched rockets to the moon, sent probes beyond our solar system, and allowed humanity to take photographs of galaxies billions of light years away. We are tiny creatures on a small planet, but our curiosity reaches across the universe itself. So the next time you look up at the night sky, remember this. You are staring into an endless cosmic ocean filled with exploding stars, invisible mysteries, ancient galaxies, impossible worlds, and secrets humanity still hasn't uncovered. Space is not just far away, it's the greatest mystery ever discovered, and we've only just begun exploring it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want more content like this, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Your Highness. See you in the next one.